Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of our conference. We're very excited to have you guys here, and it's an honor. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our next speaker. Our next speaker's name is Dr. Phil Neopart, has been dedicated advocate and trusted friend of Darfuri community for nearly 2 decades. His commitments began since 2007 when he started lobbying members of Congress to raise awareness about the crisis in Darfur. In 2009, he became a mentor to newly arrived Darfur refugees, offering guidance, encouragement, and unwavering support as they rebuild their lives in the United States. At the request of the Darfur community, Phil helped establish the nonprofit organizations that would become Dorothy organizations. طبعا كلكم بتعرفوا دروتي صح؟ هذا الشخص هو الشخص اللي ساهم أو أما ساعد بتكوين منظمة دروتي اللي هو منظمة خيرية، وهي مليمة أو كل الناس بتعلم بهذا المنظمة وجميع الخيرات اللي قاعدة تقدم للاجئين والنازحين في معسكرات لجوء. So he helped serve from 2010 to 2013 in laying its platforms or foundations as he helped create the 501c organizations. Since then, he continued to serve fulfill as assistant to the board, providing steady leadership counsels and support. His years of services reflect a deep commitment to justice, compassion, and empowering the Darfuri community. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Phil Neopart. You're here, the stage is yours.
Hello everyone, thanks for coming out here from all over the country and that. I've been asked to speak about 2 different things. One is related to the nonprofit that they mentioned, the Dorothy Organization for Humanitarian Services, and the other is about 2 major American policy bills dealing with Sudan. One is not so good and one's better than that. I'm going to start with the Dorothy stuff first, and then Elias Hassan will follow up. Elias Hassan took over as treasurer, and believe it or not, on April 15th, 2023, we had the election then, and Elias got it, and he's been treasurer since then. So he and Mohammed Al-Karim were serving during the last 2 distributions, both in Chad, as it turns out, but they'll tell you more about that. All right. I came back to Louisville from New York State in 2007 later, after I'd lobbied it there about Darfur. And at the time, Darfur was the worst human rights thing going, according to Amnesty International, so I just learned how to lobby. So I came back here and I met the people I know now through Kentucky Refugee Ministries and Catholic Charities. They're 2 resettlement agencies that work in Louisville, and those of you who know here, they'll tell you all about it. So there was that, and what we did, and so they said, well, how do you raise money? I said, well, use 40501c3. And Ramadan Haroon and Kamis Juma Yusuf and Abdulaziz Isaac and many others were major. Muhammad Abdullah, they were all. We basically took several years to apply for 501c3 status. I know that this organization has it, so they can tell you about how long it takes. We started that in 2011. Haroon Hassan and I got our EIN number in 2011. And then by 2013, we were 501c3 ready, and then we started collecting clothing and distributing it locally. Kamis Juma Yusuf was a huge part of that. And then we joined Global Giving in 2017. Now, Global Giving is huge, okay, because you got there many online platforms, right, to raise money. But there's an idiosyncrasy in United States law dealing with nonprofits, raising money from people who live in other states. And there's not an overall blanket thing where you just do one thing and it applies to all the states. The way it's set up is that states can opt out of making you have to register ahead of time before you raise money, but most of them don't. And unofficially, they'll ignore a few $1,000s, but after that, you gotta register, usually with their Attorney General's office or their Revenue Department. And technically, if you don't, that could be a violation. Global Giving registers with all the states that ask for that ahead of time. Okay? And also other foreign countries. And that's huge. And also, they were founded in 2002 by two World Food Program members. And they're the real thing. And if you do well, and we did pretty well, they will give you grants. And they will also refer you to major companies that come to them saying, well, we want to donate to this cause. What do you got? And if they like you, they'll put your name out there. I'm talking like Pepsi-Cola, Nike, big ones, okay? It's a great way to step up. They give you guidance. When they take a cut, it's about 8%. It could be a lot worse. Elias Hassan and Muhammad Abdul Karim know a lot more about that because they deal with that officially. I'm just a paperwork guy for Doroti, okay? I've never been a member. I've never been a board member. It's them controlling it. I just assist them. Okay, so we got to Global Giving, we started raising money that way, and then we stopped buying clothes, and we started sending people money for clothes. That cut our expenses in half. If you cut shipping out anyway, you're gonna save at least half your money. And that's what we did in 2018. Muhammad Abdul Rahman in the Fort Worth, Dallas area had a bunch of people come in, and he gave us a list. It was about 83 people, and we said, we're gonna send checks to them and a list of Goodwill stores nearby where they can go. We did that. We wouldn't be able to do that if we sent them packages, you know, because going UPS, even if we're in Louisville, which is where the UPS is headquartered famously, they don't give you a discount for that. So that was huge. And then in 2019, it started to slow down. And then there was a massacre in January 2020, and around the outskirts of one of the Kerending camps, Kerending 1 and 2, outside of El Janina. This is January 2020. And then Khamis Juma Yusuf was president at the time. He was overseas at that time, and he helped set it up. And in June 2020, they did their first distribution there. And then Muhammad Abdul Rahman, he went over there and he stayed there for a long time, and he trained our team that's still in operation. They had to flee the massacre of El Janina in 2023, and they're Adre now, as you might expect. But he trained them. So those directors went over there and did it themselves, and they're of the people, by the people, and so they had rapport that was there. And so there were, 6 more distributions in Darfur because of their work and the local people. And Global Giving saw that, okay, that these people work remotely, responding to the board, you know, and that got attention because I don't think in Global Giving there was anybody that was 100% Darfuri doing this sort of stuff, not at the time. And again, I was never a board member. I was never in charge, okay? So please bear that in mind. They asked me to speak to you, okay? And they're gonna tell you a lot more. And then, of course, the war broke out on April 15th, 2023. We had a new director's election, and then the new crowd came in, although Muhammad Abdul Karim had been on the board member for years before that. And they're gonna tell you more about that. But we are now currently in a holding pattern. I made a mistake with the IRS, the 1042, which is what you file if you deal with international stuff, but it didn't apply to us because we were dealing with humanitarian aid. I'm an amateur, I am not a tax lawyer, I am not a bookkeeper, and I'm kind of reaching level of my expertise there. And we're working it out. We set aside some money. I gave them a lot of money to deal with this, and so we got a lawyer working on it, so once that's settled, we'll be all right. The law is on our side there. We're not stealing anything. We're not doing anything bad. Our lawyer tells us that. And, we were looking hopeful there. But again, that was an oversight on my part. None of the board members were fault. That's me, okay? So when you think about that, think about me, not them. These guys are good. And the proof is what they've done. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that. And now I'm going to talk about these bills. Now, I know that this group has lobbied in Washington, D.C., and that's very, very good. But you can do it locally too. Now what I've given to Abdu is an updated guide on how to lobby your federal Congress people. That means your senators and representatives. Everybody here gets 2 senators and 1 representative, okay? And they should have offices in your state, several of them usually. And so they should be relatively close unless you're out west, in which case you get vast distances, and that could be tricky. A remote visit might be better there. So anyway, you don't have to be a citizen to do this. You don't have to have a specific reason to do this. You can just go say, my people are suffering. I'm a witness. I know witnesses. It's true, okay? You can do that, all right? You do not have to be a citizen to do this, because they make money off taxes, and I don't have to tell you, you all pay taxes. Whether you're on the way to be a citizen, whether you're a citizen, whether you're a green card holder, you pay taxes, and they know it, all right? So, this guide I gave Abdu tells you how to find a website where how to find your senator, how to find your representative. You enter in your zip code and it tells you specifically, all right? And then now these bills. So this guide is something that I wrote, it's pretty specific, and I'm not gonna talk too much about that because this is something that's an email form, it can be forwarded to you. I'm gonna assume that that happens. Now, these bills. One is that the bills are HR, and there'll be a number, or for the House of Representatives, or S for Senate, okay? HR 1939, HR 1939 is a bill that is, and has been around since it was introduced in March 6, 2025 by a Democrat representative, and now there are 32 co-sponsors. This bill is very good because while both bills require, a bill is better than an executive order because an executive order changes with the president, or the president changes his mind a lot. I don't have to tell you how that is now. That could be chaotic. But if it's law, it's codified. That means they have to keep following it no matter who's in office. So it's a step up from that. I'm not saying it's going to solve the problem. But if you want to put the heat on the United Arab Emirates, who's funding the RSF, this is one way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's one way to do that. And I'm not naive. I know the UAE has got money everywhere, including this country. They gave the Trump administration family a lot of money for their crypto recently. I mean, a shameful amount. I mean, it's corruption. I know it is. But knowing how to lobby is a tool that's crucial. A lot of American citizens don't use it. I didn't until I started helping these guys. You know, this is a tool I'm giving you. It can be valuable. I'm not saying it will be, but it can be. All right. In my guide, it tells you how to look at legislation and how to read it in Congress.gov. And if you can't, because that tells you, obviously, and you can go back to Congress.gov. You want to go to Congress.gov because that tells you, obviously, the name of the bill, where it is, exactly what's been done to it before, who's co-sponsoring it. A sponsor is someone who's been done to introduces it, co-sponsors the people to sign on to it, support it before the vote's taken on it, okay? It'll tell you the text of the text. It'll do all those things, and it's from the Congress. It'll do it, all right? But my fellow Americans and those who are on the way to becoming so, here's a tool. It's very valuable. It can teach you how things fit. The House bill, HR 1939, is valuable because while both bills require the presidential administration and the Department of State to keep track of who is funding the combatants in Sudan and prohibits the sale of major American weapons to any government that funds the combatants in Sudan. Not just the RSF and SAF, but militias too, okay? That's one thing. Another part of the bill specifically mandates that women and youths be involved in the establishment of a civilian democracy in Sudan. There's a section named after that. The Senate version doesn't have either of those things. Let's see what else. There's also, there's many things. Human Rights Watch has endorsed this bill. And a statement from July 21st of this year, they endorsed it. Let me see what else was there. There's two other things. that this bill is really good about. Yeah, so, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking now. My colleagues want to come up here and answer